November 23rd, 2012, 11:47 p.m. Dubai International Airport Security Room. Julia Mendoza, 17 years old, sits under fluorescent lights that make everything look dead. Her hands are cuffed to a metal table. The cuffs are too tight. They've been too tight for 6 hours. On the table between her and the interrogator, 2.3 kilograms of heroin. Street value $180,000. Found in the false bottom of a Louis Vuitton suitcase. Her suitcase, her initials embossed in gold on the side. The interrogator leans forward. Fourth coffee of the night. He's tired. She's terrified. Who gave you this suitcase? It's the 14th time he's asked. Julia answers the same way she's answered for 6 hours, voice hoarse from crying. Sheikh Khalid Al-Farhan. He gave it to me as a gift. I didn't know. I swear to God, I didn't know. The interrogator leans back. Smiles. Not friendly. The kind of smile that says he's heard this before. Sheikh Khalid Al-Farhan says he barely knows you. Says you spoke once at a talent competition. Says he has no idea why a poor girl from Manila would use his name. Julia's world tilts. The room spins. Her stomach drops. That's not true. He's been my sponsor for 8 months. He's mentoring me. He gave me voice lessons. He introduced me to producers. There's no record of any of that. But there has to be. We had dinners. We went to events. I have photos. Show me. Julia realizes she doesn't have photos. Every meeting was private. Every dinner paid in cash. Every moment carefully arranged so there'd be no evidence. He knew. He always knew. This was always the plan. April 12th, 2024, 11 years and 139 days later, Emirates Hills, Dubai. Julia Mendoza stands outside a villa, same city, different woman. She's 32 now, different name, different face, different everything. The villa in front of her is massive, white marble, gold accents. The kind of house that costs more than most people make in a lifetime. Inside that villa, Sheikh Khalid Al-Farhan, 63, years old, still free, still wealthy, still destroying girls. In Julia's bag, a recording device, bank records, photographs, 11 years of evidence gathered one painful piece at a time. In her pocket, a burner phone with a BBC journalist number on speed dial. On her wrist, a watch counting down. She has 6 hours before Sheikh Khalid discovers who she really is. 6 hours to expose him. 6 hours to upload the evidence. 6 hours to get to the airport. Or 6 hours before she disappears forever. This is how a teenage girl's dream became a decade in hell, and how she turned that hell into a weapon. Welcome to True Crime Story 247. If you're here, you already know these stories matter. The ones the system buries, the ones nobody wants to talk about. Subscribe, because this case is going to make you question everything you thought you knew about justice. Now let me take you back. Back to Manila. Back to when Julia Mendoza still believed the world was fair. Manila, Tondo District. 1995. Julia was born in one of the poorest neighborhoods in the Philippines. The kind of place where houses lean against each other like drunk old men, where the smell of the Pasig River creeps through every window, no matter how tightly you close them. Where poverty isn't just a condition, it's the air you breathe. Her mother, Estrella, worked as a laundry woman for 3 different families. 8,000 pesos a month, about $160 USD. That's what she made washing other people's clothes, ironing other people's sheets, scrubbing other people's floors. Julia's father left when she was 4. Just another man who couldn't carry the weight of poverty and chose to disappear instead. So it was just the two of them. Estrella and Julia. 2 against the world. But Julia had something poverty couldn't touch. A voice. By 12, She was singing at neighborhood fiestas, her clear soprano cutting through the noise of karaoke machines and drunk uncles arguing about basketball. By 15, she'd won 3 provincial singing competitions, the kind where the prize is 2,000 pesos and a certificate printed on regular paper. But it was enough to get noticed. A talent manager in Quezon City saw her perform at a festival, pulled her aside after, handed her a business card. "You have something special. If you can get to the right audition, I can get you to the right people." The right audition, it turned out, was in Dubai, March 2012. Julia is 17 years old. The Gulf Star International Talent Competition is making waves across Southeast Asia. The premise is simple. Young performers from developing countries compete for a recording contract, a cash prize of $100,000, and a sponsor visa to work legally in the UAE entertainment industry. For girls like Julia, it's a golden ticket out of Tondo. The entry fee is 50,000 pesos. Julia's mother makes 8,000 pesos a month. Do the math. That's more than 6 months of her mother's income for one entry fee. But Estrella doesn't hesitate. She sells everything. The EU small television they bought secondhand 3 years ago. The refrigerator that only worked half the time anyway. The gold earrings her own mother gave her on her wedding day. The only thing she had left from a woman who died when Estrella was 19. She borrows from neighbors, promises to pay them back. She borrows from loan sharks, promises to pay them back with interest. She scrapes together every peso, and on a Tuesday afternoon in March, she presses the money into Julia's hands. Bills worn soft from being passed between too many desperate people. "This is your chance, Anak. Don't waste it." Julia cries, promises she won't. March 15th, 2012. Julia boards a plane to Dubai, 17 years old, carrying a second-hand suitcase her mother bought from a neighbor, wearing her best dress, which isn't very best at all. But her heart is full of the kind of hope that only the young and desperate can carry. The kind of hope that makes you believe one audition can change everything. She has no idea she's walking into a trap. Dubai Marina, March the 17th, 2012. The Gulf Star International Competition is held at a luxury hotel, the kind of place Julia has only seen in magazines. Crystal chandeliers hang from ceilings 3 stories high. Women in designer abayas glide across marble floors. Everything smells like money and jasmine and something else Julia can't name. Privilege, maybe. The scent of never having to worry about anything. There are contestants from everywhere: Philippines, Indonesia, Nigeria, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. All young, all talented, all desperately poor. Julia performs. On the second night, she sings "I Will Always Love You," the Whitney Houston version, the one everyone knows, the one that's almost impossible to sing unless you were born to do it. Julia was born to do it. When she hits the final note, the audience rises to their feet. All of them, judges, contestants, hotel staff, standing in the back. For 3 minutes and 47 seconds, Julia Mendoza isn't a poor girl from Tondo. She's a star. She places second. The winner is a Lebanese singer named Yasmin, 22 years old. Professional training since she was 6. Family connections to one of the judges. Everyone knows it. Nobody says it. Julia cries in her hotel room that night. Not because she lost. She never expected to win. She cries because she came so close to everything. Close enough to touch it. Close enough to taste it. And now she has to go back to nothing. Back to Tondo. Back to watching her mother destroy her hands, washing other people's clothes. Back to loan sharks demanding payment. Back to a life where singing at fiestas is as good as it gets. The next morning, she receives a message. Unknown number. "Congratulations on your performance. I would like to discuss your future. Please join me for lunch at the Palm Jumeirah. Sheikh Khalid Al Farhan. Julia stares at the message. She Googles the name. Sheikh Khalid Al Farhan. 53 years old. Businessman. Construction. Companies. Shipping firms. Charitable foundation. Photos of him at galas with politicians and celebrities. Wealthy, respected, powerful. And he wants to discuss her future. Julia calls her mother. Nana, I didn't win. But someone wants to sponsor me, a sheikh, a real one. Estrella weeps with joy on the other end of the line. Neither of them knows what Sheikh Khalid Al Farhan really is. Palm Jumeirah, March 18, 2012. Sheikh Khalid chose the restaurant carefully. Expensive enough to impress. Private enough to avoid witnesses. Julia arrives 15 minutes early, too nervous to be late. She's wearing the same dress from the competition. The only nice thing she owns. Sheikh Khalid arrives exactly on time. Silver hair, perfectly tailored suit, warm smile. He shakes her hand like she's someone important. Julia, thank you for coming. Please sit. The lunch costs more than Estrella makes in a month. Julia knows because she sees the menu. No price is listed. That's how you know it's expensive. Sheikh Khalid orders for both of them. Explains each dish. Makes her feel cultured, sophisticated. Then he gets to business. The competition was rigged. Everyone knows this. The judges had already decided Yasmin would win before you even performed, but talent like yours deserves a real chance. He leans forward. I want to help you. Voice lessons with a coach from London, recording sessions at a professional studio, introductions to producers across the Gulf. I'll sponsor your visa, cover your expenses, give you the career you deserve. Julia's hands are shaking. She puts them in her lap so he won't see. Why would you do this for me? Sheikh Khalid smiles. Gentle, paternal. I believe in supporting the arts, and I have a daughter. Had a daughter. She died young. Car accident. She loved to sing. When I saw you perform, I thought, this is what she could have become. His eyes get distant. Sad. Julia's heart breaks for him. I'm so sorry. Don't be. Help me honor her. Memory. Let me give you the opportunity she never had. I ask for nothing in return, except the satisfaction of watching art flourish. Julia wants to say yes immediately, but she's careful. Poor people. Learn to be careful. Can I think about it? Of course. Take your time. Here's my card. Call me when you're ready. That night, Julia researches everything. His businesses, his foundation, his reputation. Everything checks out. Legitimate companies, respected charities, no scandals, no warnings. She calls him the next day. I accept. Thank you so much. Sheikh Khalid's voice is warm. You won't regret this, Julia, I promise. What Julia doesn't know, Sheikh Khalid sponsored the Gulf Star International Competition. He's been sponsoring it for 5 years. That's how he finds them. Vulnerable girls, talented, desperate, far from home. He's done this before. Filipinas, Indonesians, Nigerians. Same pattern every time. 8 months of cultivation. Building trust. Creating dependency. Then the trap. The ones who get caught go to prison. The ones who don't disappear anyway. Julia just became his newest project. April, November 2012, 8 months. Sheikh Khalid is patient, meticulous, careful. He arranges real voice lessons, a coach from London who works with professional singers. Julia practices scales, breathing techniques, performance presence. He arranges studio sessions, real producers, real equipment. Julia records demo tracks, hears her voice played back through professional speakers. He takes her to industry events, real celebrities, real connections. Julia stands next to people she's only seen on television. He never touches her inappropriately, never makes demands, never does anything that would raise suspicion. He's building trust. And Julia gives it to him completely. Her Instagram from this period tells the story. April, singing in small Dubai venues to crowds of 20 people. June, meeting music producers in glass offices overlooking the marina. August, studio sessions, headphones on, eyes closed, living the dream. October, performing at private events for audiences in designer clothes. Every post tagged with gratitude. Thank you to my mentor for believing in me. Sheikh Khalid comments on some of them. Encouraging words. Proud mentor energy. Back in Manila, Estrella shows Julia's photos to neighbors. My daughter is going to be famous. Sheikh Khalid is sponsoring her. He's a good man. God sent him to us. The loan sharks are getting impatient. Estrella hasn't made payments in months. But she promises them, when Julia makes it big, I'll pay everything back with interest. Just give me time. They give her time because they believe her. Everyone believes Julia is going to make it. In June, Julia meets another Filipina at an industry event. Older woman, maybe 25, beautiful. Works as a personal assistant to a different sheikh. The woman pulls Julia aside during a break, leans in close. Be careful, not everyone here is who they seem. Julia doesn't understand. What do you mean? But before the woman can answer, someone calls her name. She disappears into the crowd. Julia never sees her again. Later, much later, Julia will research that woman. We'll find out her name was Maria Santos. Arrested in 2011 for drug trafficking. Died in Alawir prison in 2012, 1 month before Julia met her, except Julia has photos with her from the event. Clear photos, both of them smiling. Sheikh Khalid made sure Julia met a woman who didn't exist anymore. A ghost, a test. To see if Julia would investigate, to see if she'd ask questions. She didn't. November 2012. Dinner at Sheikh Khalid's Palm Jumeirah villa. The villa is massive, white marble, gold fixtures, artwork that costs more than houses. I have a gift for you, Sheikh Khalid says over dessert. A vacation. You've been working so hard. You deserve a break before your recording session next month. Malaysia, 5 days at a resort in Langkawi. Siatsa, expenses paid. I'll join you for the last 2 days. I have business in Kuala Lumpur first, but you should fly ahead. Relax. Enjoy yourself. He hands her a suitcase. Louis Vuitton, her initials embossed in gold on the side. A gift for my future star. Julia runs her fingers over the leather. It's the most beautiful thing she's ever owned. This is too much. Nothing is too much for talent like yours. Julia packs carefully, sundresses, swimsuits, toiletries, everything folded perfectly in the beautiful suitcase. She doesn't know the suitcase has a false bottom. Doesn't know 2.3 kilograms of heroin is sewn into the lining beneath her clothes. Doesn't know her flight is booked separately from Sheikh Khalid's. Different airline, different booking reference, no connection. Doesn't know her ticket was purchased with cash through a travel agency that will conveniently lose all records. Doesn't know she's a blind mule. An innocent carrier designed to take the fall if anything goes wrong. The suitcase belonged to Sheikh Khalid's wife, who died in 2010. He kept her entire Louis Vuitton collection specifically for this. Uses dead women's belongings to traffic drugs through living girls. Julia isn't the first. Won't be the last. November 23, 2012, Dubai International Airport, 11:20 p.m. Julia checks in for her flight to Kuala Lumpur. The agent smiles, wishes her a pleasant trip. She goes through security, puts the suitcase on the scanner belt. The security guard watches the screen. Pauses. Calls a supervisor. They ask Julia to step aside. Open the suitcase, please. Julia opens it. Nothing unusual. Just her clothes neatly folded. The guard runs his hand along the lining. Feels something. Pulls harder. The false bottom tears. Plastic-wrapped packages spill onto the inspection table. Julia stares. Doesn't understand what she's seeing. Then she does. Her knees buckle. She grabs the table to stay upright. That's not mine. I don't know how that got there. Sheikh Khalid gave me this suitcase. Please, call him. He'll explain. They call Sheikh Khalid Al-Farhan. His voice comes through the phone, smooth, concerned. I barely know this girl. We spoke briefly at a talent competition I attended several months ago. I have no idea why she would use my name. I'm shocked and deeply disappointed. Julia screams. Actually screams. No, that's not true. You've been mentoring me for 8 months. You gave me this suitcase. Security restrains her, cuffs her hands. She's still screaming when they take her away. The interrogation lasts 14 hours. White room, fluorescent lights, no windows, no clock. They ask the same questions over and over. Julia gives the same answers. Crying, pleading, explaining. But there's no evidence. Sheikh Khalid paid for everything in cash, met her in private locations. No photographs, no emails, no text messages, nothing connecting them except Julia's word. And who believes a poor girl from Manila over a respected sheikh? During the interrogation, they show her a photo. Do you know this woman? It's Maria Santos, the woman from the event. She died in prison last year, drug trafficking. Also claimed a sheikh set her up. Also had no evidence. You girls all tell the same story. Julia realizes Sheikh Khalid showed her Maria's ghost on purpose to send a message. Even dead women can't touch me. The trial is a formality. Court-appointed lawyer, tired, broken English, goes through the motions. Defense, 45 minutes. Prosecution, the drugs, the suitcase, Julia's fingerprints all over it, her inability to explain how 2.3 kilograms of heroin ended up in her possession. Verdict, guilty. Sentence, 15 years. The judge shows leniency because of her age. Julia is 18 years old. In the courtroom gallery, Sheikh Khalid sits in the back row, watching. Their eyes meet for exactly 3 seconds. He smiles. The smile says, "You were never going to be a star. You were always going to be this." December 2012, Alawir Central Prison, 35 kilometers from Dubai's glittering skyline, in the desert, where the sand swallows everything. The cells are designed for 2 inmates. They hold 4. Julia's cellmates, a Pakistani woman arrested for prostitution, an Ethiopian woman arrested for theft, a Filipina woman arrested for overstaying her visa. The toilet doesn't flush properly. The air conditioning fails regularly. When it does, temperatures inside the cell exceed 40 degrees Celsius. Julia sleeps on a mat on the concrete floor. The first night, she doesn't sleep at all. Just lies there thinking about her mother, about the loan sharks, about how everything went so wrong so fast. The first month, Julia writes letters to Estrella, tells her everything, the setup, Sheikh Khalid, the truth. The letters come back. Whole paragraphs censored. Black marker through anything that mentions names or specifics. What reaches Estrella are fragments. Daughter in prison. Claims she's innocent. Can't explain how drugs got in suitcase. Estrella doesn't know what to believe. Julia files appeals, one after another. Denied, denied, denied. No explanation, just denied. She watches other women shuffle through the system. Some get released early, good behavior. Ramadan pardons. Family connections. Some get executed. Drug trafficking carries the death penalty in UAE. Julia sees 2 women executed in her first year. They're taken away one morning. Don't come back. Most women are just forgotten. serve their time. Disappear. Year 2, 2014. Julia receives a letter, not from Estrella, from a neighbor in Tondo. The handwriting is shaky, the paper cheap. I'm sorry to tell you, your mother had a stroke 3 days ago. She died. The loan sharks came for the house. They took everything. There was nothing left. I'm so sorry. Julia reads it 3 times. Then she stops eating. 5 days. The guards notice. Try to make her eat. She refuses. 3 weeks. She stops speaking. Just lies on her mat. Stares at nothing. A guard finds her in the shower. Bedsheet tied around her neck, trying to loop it over the pipe. Solitary confinement. 72 hours. Bare cell, concrete. Nothing. Julia sits in the dark, and that's when she sees it, scratched into the wall. Tiny letters. You'd miss it if you weren't looking. Maria Santos, 2011. He'll do this to others. Make him pay. Maria Santos. The woman from the event. The ghost. She was real. She was here. She left a message. For someone like Julia, and something changes. Julia stops wanting to die, starts wanting revenge. Year 3, 2015. Julia makes friends with the other women, really talks to them, learns their stories. Fatima, Indonesian, 23 years old, arrested 2013. Same story as Julia's, different Sheikh, drugs in suitcase. Gift from her sponsor, 12-year sentence. Amara, Nigerian, 28 years old, arrested 2011, domestic worker. Her employer asked her to carry a package to London. Important documents. It was cocaine. 20 years. Layla, Pakistani, 26. Arrested 2014, worked at a hotel. Manager gave her a bonus. Paid vacation to Thailand. Provided the suitcase. Heroin in the lining. 18 years. All young, all foreign, all poor. All trusted someone, all carrying gifts, all set up, all abandoned. The pattern is so clear it makes Julia's hands shake. The prison library has newspapers, old ones, months out of date, discarded. Julia reads every single one, learns about the Al Farhan family, Sheikh Khalid's business empire, construction, shipping, real estate, his 2 sons, Tariq, the older one, Rashid, the younger, his wife's death in 2010, cancer, his charitable foundation, donations to hospitals, schools, orphanages, his political connections, photos with ministers, diplomats, royalty. Julia memorizes everything. In a newspaper from 2009, she finds something. Small article. Bottom of page 6. Filipina domestic worker falls from balcony in Emirates Hills. Death ruled accidental. The woman's name Carmen Reyes. Age 24. Employer, Sheikh Khalid Al Farhan. Julia shows the article to the other Filipinas in her block. One of them points to a cell. Carmen's name is scratched in there. Cell 14. Julia goes to cell 14, scratched into the wall, tiny. Carmen Reyes, 2009. Don't trust the balcony. Sheikh Khalid's pattern goes back further than anyone knows. How many women? How many years? Julia decides she's going to find out, and she's going to make him pay for all of them. Years 4 through 7, 2016-2019. Julia transforms herself. Prison education programs. She takes every class offered. Arabic. She's fluent by 2017, can read newspapers, understand conversations. Business studies, financial systems, how money moves, how records are kept, computer literacy, basic coding, how digital systems work, psychology, how people think, how they can be manipulated. She changes her body, loses weight carefully. Too much and the guards get suspicious. Eating disorder protocols mean isolation. But she gets lean, strong, uses the exercise yard, push-ups, sit-ups, running in place, changes her posture. From hunched victim to straight-back survivor. Studies wealthy women in magazines, how they walk, how they hold themselves, how they gesture when they talk. Practices in the small mirror in the bathroom. Different expressions, different mannerisms. Becomes someone else. New guard arrives, Filipina, older, maybe 50, name Rosa. Rosa recognizes Julia, remembers the case, the news coverage, the young singer set up by a sheikh. Rosa doesn't say anything at first, just watches. Then one day, she brings Julia a newspaper, recent one, not months old. Inside article about the Al-Farhan family. Tariq Al-Farhan opening a new office building. Rosa walks away without a word. The next week, another newspaper. Sheikh Khalid at a charity gala. And week after that, magazine. Dubai Society pages. Julia realizes Rosa is helping her. She never asks why, but she knows. Rosa lost a daughter too. Different circumstances, car accident, same grief. Through Rosa, Julia learned something that makes her blood run cold. The Gulf Star International competition, the one that brought Julia to Dubai, still running every year, still finding girls. Another Filipina finalist goes missing. Name Jasmine Cruz. Listed as returned to Philippines. But her family never saw her again. Sheikh Khalid is still hunting. Right now, while Julia rots in prison, he's setting up another girl. Julia's planning becomes obsessive. Years 8 and 9, 2020, 2021. Julia gets news. Ramadan pardon reduced her sentence. 15 years down to 10. Release date, December 2022. She has 2 years to plan. The strategy forms. She can't go to UAE police. Sheikh Khalid owns them. Judges, prosecutors, immigration officials can't go to Filipino embassy, understaffed, overwhelmed. They won't investigate a sheikh. She needs international media. Evidence so damning it can't be buried. But she can't get to Sheikh Khalid directly. Too protected. Too careful. His son, Tariq Al-Farhan, 31 years old, unmarried, less careful than his father. Julia studies everything about Tariq through magazines Rosa brings. His favorite clubs, his dating history, his business interests, his social media presence. She builds a psychological profile. Tariq likes confident women, international backgrounds, business talk, women who don't need him. Julia can be that woman, but she can't be Julia Mendoza. That name is poisoned. She needs a new identity. Sofia Santos, Filipina businesswoman. Made money in Singapore real estate. Divorced. No children. Rosa helps. Gets documents through connections, passport, driver's license. Bank statements, not legal, but good enough. Through Rosa, Julia learns one more thing. Sheikh Khalid keeps records. Not of the drug trafficking. Too smart for that. But of the payments. Bank transfers to travel agencies. Cash withdrawals. Rosa's cousin works at a bank, has seen the pattern. Withdrawals that coincide with arrests. But he won't testify, too afraid. Julia realizes if she can access those records, she can prove everything. December 2nd, 2022. Julia walks out of Alawir prison. 32 years old. Mother dead. House gone. Nothing to go home to. She doesn't go home. Filipino women's shelter in Sharjah, run by Sister Maria, helps released prisoners. Julia gets a job, hotel receptionist in Dera, saves every dirham. She practices being Sofia Santos, changes everything. Hair, dyed brown, cut shorter, styled differently. Eyes, colored contacts, brown to hazel. Makeup, completely different application, contouring, highlighting, teeth, whitening, one cap on a front tooth, voice, slightly deeper, practiced for months. Fashion, watches wealthy women, copies their style. She watches the Al-Farhan family from a distance. Sheikh Khalid, 63 now, semi-retired, spends most time at his Emirates Hills Villa. Tariq, 31, running the family businesses, active social life. Rashid, 28, married, 2 children, less involved. Julia maps Tariq's routine. Brunches at 5 Palm Jumeirah on Fridays, parties at Soho Garden on Saturdays, business meetings at Four Seasons, gym at 6 a.m. While watching Tariq, she notices something. Every Tuesday, same coffee shop in DIFC, same man. Carlos Martinez. The name surfaces in her research. Cruise ship crew member 2012. Quit suddenly. Moved to Dubai. Works in logistics. Julia realizes Carlos was the inside man, the one who made the trafficking routes work. If she can get to Carlos, she can get testimony. But first, Tariq. January 2023. Julia becomes Sofia Santos. Rents a small apartment in Dubai Marina. Cheapest in an expensive building. Creates social media. Instagram, carefully curated. Singapore photos stolen from travel bloggers. Business content. Lifestyle posts. Backdated to 2018. LinkedIn. Detailed work history. Nixodolia. Fabricated, but consistent. Verifiable enough. Facebook. Sparse. Just enough to seem real. She studies Singapore real estate until she can discuss it fluently. Practices her story until it's automatic. September 2023. Philippine Dubai Business Council Annual Gala. Julia knows Tariq will be there. His mother was Filipina, deceased. He attends these events for appearance. Sofia Santos buys a ticket, $500 she can barely afford. Wears a dress from a consignment shop. Looks expensive if you don't look too close. Arrives alone, confident. She positions herself at the bar. Not obvious, just there. Tariq arrives late, scans the room. Julia times it perfectly, turns to leave, bumps into him, graceful, not clumsy. I'm so sorry. No harm done. Are you enjoying the event? First time attending. You? Every year. My mother was Filipina. It's important to me. They talk. 20 minutes. Business, Singapore, real estate. Julia is knowledgeable, impressive, funny. Tariq is interested. Would you like to get dinner sometime? I'd like that. During their conversation, Tariq mentions his father. He had a bad experience with a Filipina girl years ago, accused him of terrible things, tried to use his name for drug trafficking, broke his heart. He only wanted to help her. Julia smiles, nods sympathetically, thinks, you have no idea who you're talking to. October 2023. First date. Japanese restaurant. Julia is perfect. Not too eager, not too distant. Interesting. Asks good questions. Tariq is smitten. Second date. Third. Fourth. By mid-October, they're seeing each other twice a week. November. Tariq invites her to family dinner. Sheikh Khalid's villa, Emirates Hills. 11 years of planning. For this moment. Julia walks into the house where her nightmare began, sits across from the man who destroyed her life. Sheikh Khalid doesn't recognize her. Why would he? Different face, different name, different everything. She's one of dozens. He doesn't remember them all. But Julia remembers everything. She smiles, makes pleasant conversation, compliments the food, watches Sheikh Khalid interact with Tariq. The way he listens when Tariq speaks, touches his shoulder, laughs at his jokes. He loves his son, genuinely, completely. This man who destroys other people's daughters loves his own child. It makes him more monstrous, not less. By December, Tariq trusts Julia completely, gives her his apartment key, shares his calendar, talks about family business, shows her his phone passcode. In case of emergency, Julia is patient, methodical, just like Sheikh Khalid was with her. One night, family dinner, Sheikh Khalid gets a phone call, steps out of the room. Julia excuses herself, pretends to look for the bathroom, follows the sound of his voice, stands outside a closed door, listens. The route through Malaysia is compromised. We need to switch to the Singapore line. Find me another girl, younger. The younger ones trust easier. Julia's hands clench. He's doing it right now. Another girl. Another trap. She's running out of time. February 2024. Sunday brunch at Sheikh Khalid's villa. Sheikh Khalid is at mosque. Won't be back for an hour. Tariq shows Julia around, proud of family history. Points out artwork, explains the architecture. Julia asks to use the bathroom. Instead, she goes to Sheikh Khalid's office. Locked. She picks it. Learned from Amara in prison. Locksmith before she got arrested. 10 minutes. That's all she has. Inside, filing cabinets, computer, safe. She photographs everything her phone can capture. Bank statements, travel agency receipts, wire transfers. The pattern is clear. Undeniable. November 2012. $15,000 withdrawal, Julia's arrest. March 2013, $15,000, Fatima's arrest. August 2014, $15,000, Layla's arrest. Every payment matches a blind mule arrest. March 2024. Julia and Tariq at his apartment. Sheikh Khalid calls. Business. Tariq puts him on speaker. Doesn't think twice. Julia's phone is recording. Sheikh Khalid's voice. The Malaysian route is getting too much attention. We need to pause operations for 6 months. Tell Carlos to find us new recruitment channels. Maybe Indonesia this time. The Filipina well is running dry. Tariq laughs. Father, you make it sound so sinister. It's just logistics. Everything is logistics, my son. Just make sure there are no loose ends. Julia has everything. Through the women's shelter, she gets a name. James Whitmore, BBC Arabic. Investigating Gulf trafficking networks for 3 years. She contacts him, encrypted email. I have evidence against Sheikh Khalid Al Farhan. Drug trafficking, human trafficking, a decade of crimes. Interested? Who are you? Someone he destroyed. I'm giving you the story of your career. They meet. Coffee shop in Sharjah. Julia shows him everything. James is skeptical. How do I know this is real? Julia shows him her Al-Awir discharge papers, her real name. Look up my case. Then look up Maria Santos, Fatima Kusuma, Layla Hassan. All the same pattern, all the same sheikh. James researches. 2 weeks. Confirms everything. When can we publish? April 15th. I need time to get out first. James leans back. My sister worked in Dubai, 2009. Domestic worker, fell from a balcony, death ruled accidental. Employer, Sheikh Khalid Al Farhan. I've been waiting 15 years for this. April the 12th, 2024, 3 days before publication. Everything is ready. James has the story written. Editorial review complete. Legal has cleared it. Publishing date set for April 15th. Julia has copied all evidence to 3 separate hard drives. Cloud backups on encrypted servers. Physical copies in a safe deposit box in Manila that Sister Maria has access to. Her escape is planned. Flight booked. Cash hidden. New identity ready. 3 more days. 72 hours. Then it's over. Her phone rings. Tariq, can you come over? My father wants to have dinner with us tonight. Julia's stomach drops. Sunday dinners at Sheikh Khalid's villa are planned weeks in advance. Formal affairs, invitations sent, menu discussed. This isn't planned. Tonight, is everything okay? He just wants to get to know you better. Says if we're serious, he should know more about your background. Background. The word hangs in the air. What time? 6. Is that okay? No. Nothing about this is okay. Of course, I'll be there. She hangs up. Calls James immediately. Something's wrong. Sheikh Khalid wants to meet me tonight, unplanned. Don't go. I have to. If I don't, he'll know I'm running. Julia, if I don't come back, publish the story anyway. Everything's backed up. You have what you need. I'm not letting you walk into... It's not your choice. I'll contact you after. If you don't hear from me by midnight, assume the worst. She hangs up before he can argue. April 12th, 6 p.m. Emirates Hills Villa. Julia arrives exactly on time, not early, not late. Sheikh Khalid is waiting in the sitting room. No staff. Just him and Tariq. Tariq looks nervous. Doesn't understand why this dinner was called. Sophia, please sit. Sheikh Khalid gestures to the sofa. I was just telling Tariq how little I actually know about you. We've been enjoying your company for months, but I realized we've never discussed your background in depth. Julia sits, keeps her voice steady. What would you like to know? Your business in Singapore. Which firm did you work for? She names the firm, one she researched thoroughly. Real company. Offices in Singapore. Large enough the gaps in records could be explained. Interesting. I have a colleague there. Leonard Tan. Senior partner. Perhaps he knows you. This is a test. Julia knows it. Sheikh Khalid is watching her face, looking for tells. Singapore's a competitive market. Many firms, many agents. I wouldn't expect everyone to know each other. Of course. Sheikh Khalid smiles. I'll mention your name next time we speak. I'm sure Leonard will remember you. The dinner continues, pleasant on the surface. Tariq tries to make conversation, talks about a new project, a building in Business Bay. Julia responds, asks questions, plays the part. But Sheikh Khalid is watching her, every gesture, every word. When dinner ends, Sheikh Khalid walks them to the door. Sophia, thank you for joining us. I hope we can do this again soon. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. Julia drives home, hands shaking on the steering wheel. He knows something, maybe not everything, but something. April 13th. Morning. Tariq calls. We need to talk. What's wrong? My father ran a background check on you. Julia's heart stops, literally stops for a full second before slamming back to life. What? He does it with everyone I date. Standard protocol. But Sophia... He pauses. There's no record of you before 2018. That's ridiculous. The schools you mentioned attending in Manila, no enrollment records. The company in Singapore, they have no employee by your name. Ever. Julia's mind races. She has seconds to make this work or lose everything. Tariq, I need to tell you something, and I need you to hear me out before you react. Silence. Then, I'm listening. I wasn't completely honest about my past. The Singapore story is true, but simplified. I was in an abusive marriage. When I finally left, I had to disappear. Completely. I changed my identity, started over. The records you're looking for are under a different name. More silence. Longer this time. Are you in danger? Is he looking for you? No, it was years ago, but I needed a clean break. New name, new documentation. I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I didn't want to bring that darkness into what we have. She can hear him breathing, thinking. What was your name before? Julia closes her eyes. I can't tell you that, not yet. It's still legally complicated, but I promise you, everything else is true. My feelings. What we have. That's real. My father wants to meet you alone tomorrow, 3 p.m., his office. This is the trap. Walk in, don't walk out. Okay. Sophia, it's fine. I'll explain everything to him, I promise. After she hangs up, Julia sits on her apartment floor. 20 minutes, just breathing. Then she calls James. We need to publish tonight. That's impossible. The editorial process. If we wait, I'm dead. He ran a background check. He knows the identity is fake. I'm meeting him tomorrow afternoon. If I don't make it out, the story dies with me. Julia, don't go to that meeting. I have to. If I run now, he'll know everything. I need one more piece of evidence, a confession. She's lying. There's no confession to get. But she needs access to Tariq's phone one more time. Final backup. Make sure everything is transferred. I can try to move it up, James says, but best I can do is midnight tomorrow, April 14th. That gives you 9 hours after the meeting. Make it work. April 14th. 2-0. Julia goes to Tariq's apartment. One last time. I thought you were meeting my father at 3. I am. I wanted to see you first, to explain everything properly. They sit on the couch. Julia tells the story she prepared. Abusive ex-husband, Manila society connections, had to flee, changed her name, started over in Singapore. She cries, real tears. Easy to produce when you've cried for real for 10 years? Tariq holds her. I don't care about your past. I care about who you are now. His phone is on the coffee table. I need to use the bathroom. Of course. Julia takes the phone, locks the bathroom door, connects it to hers. Cable she bought specifically for this, transfers everything, messages, call logs, photos. The recording of Sheikh Khalid from March. 5 minutes. She returns the phone exactly where it was. I should go, don't want to be late. Tariq kisses her at the door. Call me after, let me know how it went. I will. She won't. Julia walks to the elevator, presses the button, the doors open. A young woman steps out. Filipina, maybe 19. Pretty, nervous, carrying a Louis Vuitton suitcase. Julia's blood turns to ice. The woman looks lost, checking apartment numbers. Excuse me, Julia says, are you okay? The girl smiles, relieved to hear Tagalog. Yes, just moving to Dubai. My sponsor is helping me. He's letting me stay in his apartment until I find a place. Who's your sponsor? Sheikh Khalid Al Farhan. Do you know him? The elevator doors start to close. Julia holds them open. What's your name? Maricel Reyes. Julia wants to scream, wants to grab this girl and run. Listen to me very carefully. That man is dangerous. Don't go to that apartment. Don't take anything he gives you. Don't get on any planes he books for you. Maricel backs away, eyes wide. You're crazy. I'm not. I'm someone he did this to before. Please, just trust me. Leave. Right now. Security guard appears from around the corner. Building staff. Is there a problem here? Maricel points at Julia. She's harassing me. Julia has to leave. Can't save this girl without exposing herself. Not yet. She steps into the elevator, watches the doors close. Maricel is still standing there, confused, scared. Julia makes a decision. April 14th, 3 p.m., Sheikh Khalid's office. Julia arrives exactly on time. Sheikh Khalid is alone. No Tariq, no staff, just him. Thank you for coming, Sophia. He pauses. Or should I say, Julia? The name hits like a physical blow. Julia keeps her face blank. Neutral. I don't know what you mean. Sheikh Khalid pulls a folder from his desk. Opens it. Inside, photos. Julia at 17. Competition headshots. News clippings from 2012. Julia Mendoza, born 1995. Tondo, Manila. Arrested November 2012. Drug trafficking, 15-year sentence, released December 2022 on Ramadan pardon. He looks up, smiles. I knew I recognized you. Took a while. You've changed significantly. The surgery was good, but the eyes... He taps the photo. The eyes are the same. Julia sits down. No point pretending anymore. What gave me away? Nothing specific at first, just instinct. Something about you felt wrong. Too polished, too perfect. So I looked deeper. And there you were. And found me. And found you. Silence. Sheikh Khalid actually laughs. I have to admire it, the patience, the planning. Sophia Santos, the Singapore background. Very clever. How long have you been planning this? 11 years. Remarkable. Most people would have given up, moved on, but not you. You destroyed my life. I gave you an education. Trust no one, everything has a cost. Apparently you learned well. My mother died thinking I was a drug trafficker. Unfortunate, but ultimately irrelevant to our current situation. Julia's hands clench. Sheikh Khalid stands, walks to the window, looks out at Dubai. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to leave Dubai tonight. If you don't, I'll call immigration, report you for identity fraud, visa violations, theft. You stole from my son, didn't you? His phone, his access, his trust. You'll be back in Alawir by morning, and this time there won't be a pardon. I have evidence against you. No. You have copies of documents you stole from my office? Documents that will be easily explained as forgeries created by a vengeful ex-convict with an obsession. Who will believe you? A drug trafficker? A liar? Julia stands. I have recordings, bank transfers, witness testimony from other women you destroyed. Maria Santos, Carmen Reyes, Fatima Kusuma, Layla Hassan. Sheikh Khalid turns, face hardening. You have nothing. And even if you did, I have judges, prosecutors, police commissioners. You can't touch me. BBC will publish the story tomorrow. James Whitmore has everything. For the first time, Sheikh Khalid's composure cracks. His jaw tightens, eyes narrow. What story? The truth. About your trafficking network. About the girls you've destroyed for over a decade. All of us. Every name, every arrest. Every payment you made. You're bluffing. Am I? He pulls out his phone, makes a call. I need you to find someone. James Whitmore, BBC journalist. I want to know where he is right now. Pause. And I need a woman detained at the airport tonight. Julia Mendoza. Multiple aliases. She may try to leave the country. He hangs up, looks at Julia. You won't make it to the airport. Julia remembers Maricel. There's a girl in this building right now, Maricel Reyes. You're setting her up just like you set me up. Business continues. Not anymore. Julia runs. Out of the office, down the hallway. Sheikh Khalid shouts, Security! Julia hits the stairwell, takes stairs 2 at a time. Can't wait for elevator, too slow. 4 flights down. Bursts into the lobby. Maricel is still there, sitting on a couch, waiting. The Louis Vuitton suitcase beside her. Julia runs straight to her, grabs her arm. You need to leave right now. Maricel screams, Get away from me. Security running from 2 directions. Julia doesn't have time for explanations. She grabs the suitcase, throws it on the marble floor. The lock breaks. Contents spill, clothes, toiletries, normal things. Julia grabs the lining, tears at it. What are you doing? Maricel is crying. Julia rips harder. The false bottom tears, plastic-wrapped packages fall out. White powder visible through the plastic. Everyone in the lobby stops. Residents, staff, visitors, all staring. Maricel stares. What is that? Exactly what he did to me. Security reaches them, but it's too late. Witnesses everywhere, at least 20 people. Phones out, recording. Sheikh Khalid appears, coming from the elevator, face dark with rage. This woman is deranged. Security, remove her immediately. But the packages are there, on the marble floor in front of everyone. Maricel is sobbing. He told me it was clothes, gifts. He said he was helping me get started in Dubai. One of the residents steps forward. Western woman, British accent. I'm calling the police. She's already dialing. Sheikh Khalid's face goes pale. Julia looks at him. It's over. She runs for the exit. April 14th, 6 p.m. Dubai International Airport. Julia has one chance. James moved up the publication. The story goes live at midnight, 6 hours from now. She needs to be out of UAE before then. Cab to the airport. 45 minutes of terror. Every police car they pass, she thinks. That's it. They're coming for me, but they make it. Terminal 3. Philippine Airlines. She has a ticket booked under Sofia Santos, paid for weeks ago. Immigration, the moment of truth. She hands over the passport. The officer scans it, looks at his screen. One moment, please. He picks up a phone, makes a call. Julia's heart is pounding so hard she can hear it. This is it. Either freedom or back to prison. The officer hangs up. Is there a problem? Julia asks, voice steady despite everything. Your visa is flagged. You need to come with us. Two security officers appear. Julia thinks, run or comply? Running means guilt, means they chase her, means she definitely doesn't make that flight. She goes with them. They take her to a detention room, small, white, one table, two chairs. Wait here. They close the door. Julia sits, thinks, plans. 10 minutes pass, then an alarm, loud, piercing. Security breach, different terminal. She hears running, shouting, radio chatter. The door to her room opens. The officer who brought her. Stay here, don't move. He runs. Julia counts to 10, then she moves. Out of the room. Hallway is chaos. Officers running toward Terminal 1. Julia goes the opposite direction. Bathroom, family bathroom, locks the door. Opens her carry-on. She packed for this exact scenario. Different clothes, hijab, sunglasses. She changes completely. Opens a different passport, her real one. Julia Mendoza. Criminal record. But she served her time. Sentence complete. No flags on this passport. She walks out. Different person, different look. Returns to immigration. Different line, different officer. Hands over Julia Mendoza passport. The officer scans it, looks at the screen. Purpose of visit? I was visiting family. How long were you here? 2 weeks. He stamps the passport. Safe travels. Julia walks through. Doesn't look back, doesn't run, just walks. Steady, calm, to the gate. 11:43 p.m., boarding. She gets on the plane, economy, window seat, sits down, buckles in, other passengers boarding, families, business travelers, people going home, doors close. 11:45 p.m., plane pushes back from the gate. Julia closes her eyes. 11:52 p.m., taxiing to runway. 11:58 p.m., cleared for takeoff. Engines roar. The plane accelerates. Midnight, wheels leave the ground. At that exact moment, on the other side of the world, BBC publishes. Dubai Sheikh linked to decade-long drug trafficking network. Exclusive investigation reveals pattern of using migrant women as unwitting mules. The story includes bank records, wire transfers, Sheikh Khalid's recording, testimony from Julia, testimony from other victims, photos of the packages in the villa lobby, video from witnesses, Maricel's statement. Al Jazeera picks it up within 20 minutes. CNN within an hour. Reuters. AFP. Every major outlet. Sheikh Khalid Al Farhan arrested at 1:30 a.m. at his Emirates Hills villa. Tariq Al Farhan arrested at 2 a.m. as accessory. Money laundering. Conspiracy. Carlos Martinez arrested at 3 a.m. at his apartment in Jumeirah. Full investigation launched. Assets frozen. Businesses shuttered. April 15th, 6 a.m. Manila. Julia lands at Ninoy Aquino International Airport. She turns on her phone. Notifications flood in. Messages from James. You made it. Story is everywhere. They're in custody. Messages from Sister Maria. The whole world is watching. You did it. Messages from women she met in prison, women she helped. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Julia walks through the airport. Free. Alive. Victorious. She takes a cab to Tondo, to the neighborhood where she was born, where her mother died thinking Julia was a criminal. The house is gone, taken by loan sharks. Someone else lives there now. But Julia stands on the street, looking at it. I did it, Nanny. I made him pay for me, for all of us. The trial happens months later. Julia testifies via video link. 4 hours. She names every woman, every route, every payment. When she's done, the prosecutor asks if she has anything else to add. Julia looks directly at the camera, at Sheikh Khalid, sitting in the courtroom. I remember everything. Every day of the 10 years you stole from me. Every letter I wrote to my mother that she never received. Every night I spent in that cell wondering what I did to deserve this. I survived. My mother didn't. But I'm still here, and now everyone knows what you are. Sheikh Khalid Al Farhan, sentenced to 25 years. Tariq Al-Farhan, 12 years. Carlos Martinez, 15 years. Maricel Reyes, saved. Returns to Philippines. Goes to college. Becomes a lawyer. Julia Mendoza returns to Manila. Uses the money she took from Tariq's accounts before she left. $200,000 transferred in small amounts over months. She rebuilds her mother's house. Bigger this time. Establishes a foundation. Estrella's Voice. Legal assistance for Filipinas imprisoned abroad. Trafficking cases. False accusations. Within a year, 23 women released. All similar stories, all set up, all abandoned. Julia visits them, sits with them, tells them, I was you, and I survived. So will you. She never sings professionally again. That dream died in Dubai airport in 2012. But sometimes, late at night, she hums to herself. The same Whitney Houston song she performed at 17, when she thought the world was full of possibilities. Now she knows better. The world is full of predators, but it's also full of survivors. And survivors fight back. 10 years Sheikh Khalid stole from her. But she stole something from him too. His freedom, his reputation, his legacy, his son. People ask if she feels guilty about Tariq. He loved her. Sophia, anyway. Julia's answer is simple. He knew, maybe not everything, but he knew enough. And he did nothing. In 2025, Julia speaks at the Philippine Senate. Testimony about trafficking recruitment tactics. After the hearing, a young woman approaches. Ms. Mendoza, I want to thank you. Your story stopped me from making a terrible mistake. I was about to accept a sponsorship, talent competition in Dubai. But after reading about you, I researched the sponsor, found warnings online. Julia asks, what was his name? Sheikh Hassan Al-Mansuri. Julia writes it down. Thank you for telling me. The woman leaves. Julia stares at the name. There are others. There will always be others. But now she knows what to do. If you made it this far, you've spent the last hour with Julia's story. That matters, because stories like this, they need to be told. And more than that, they need to be heard. If you believe cases like this deserve attention, share this. If you want to see more stories that expose predators and celebrate survivors, subscribe. And tell me in the comments, what would you have done? Would you have run after 10 years? Would you have come back? Would you have done it differently? I read every single one. Take care of yourselves out there. The trial happened 7 months later. International media circus. Cameras everywhere. Sheikh Khalid Al-Farhan, sentenced to 25 years in Abu Dhabi Central Prison. Tariq Al-Farhan, 12 years as accessory, money laundering, conspiracy. Carlos Martinez, 15 years, trafficking coordinator. Julia testifies via video link from an undisclosed location in the Philippines. The courtroom in Dubai watches on screens. 4 hours of testimony. She speaks calmly. No emotion, just facts. Names every woman she met in Alawir who suffered the same fate. Maria Santos, Carmen Reyes, Fatima, Kusuma, Layla Hassan. Names she memorized over 10 years. Names every travel agency Sheikh Khalid used. Every route, every pattern. Bank withdrawals matching arrest dates. $15,000 each time. The cost of destroying a life. When she finishes, the lead prosecutor leans forward. Ms. Mendoza, do you have anything else you'd like to add? Julia looks directly into the camera. At Sheikh Khalid, sitting in the courtroom. I want him to know that I remember everything. Every day of the 10 years he stole from me. Every letter I wrote to my mother that she never received. Every night I spent in that cell. My mother died believing I was a criminal. She never knew the truth. But I'm still here, And now everyone knows what he is? The courtroom is silent. Sheikh Khalid stares at the screen, face blank. He doesn't apologize, doesn't show remorse, just sits there. Maricel Reyes testifies in person. The girl from the lobby, 19 years old, from Cebu, came to Dubai for opportunity. Sheikh Khalid told me the suitcase was designer clothes, gifts to help me start my new life. I believed him. I trusted him. If Julia hadn't stopped me, I'd be the one in prison right now. The evidence from the lobby is presented. Photos, videos, witness statements. 20 people saw the packages fall from that suitcase. 20 people filmed it on their phones. The defense tries to argue entrapment, fabricated evidence, vengeful ex-convict with a grudge. But the pattern is too clear. Too many women, too many years. Verdict: guilty on all counts. Julia doesn't attend the sentencing, watches it on live stream from Manila. When the judge reads the sentence, she doesn't smile, doesn't celebrate, just closes her laptop. It's done. Julia returns to Manila with $200,000, money she transferred from Tarek's accounts over 5 months. Small amounts, untraceable. The money Sheikh Khalid made from destroying women, Julia uses to rebuild. First thing, her mother's house in Tondo. The loan sharks took it years ago, sold it to someone else. Julia buys it back, pays triple what it's worth, rebuilds it, bigger, stronger, turns it into a shelter for women returning from overseas prisons, names it Estrella's Voice, after her mother, the woman who sold everything to give Julia a chance. The foundation provides legal assistance, connects women with lawyers, pays for appeals, investigates cases. Within the first year, 23 women released from prisons across the Middle East. All similar stories, all set up, all abandoned. Julia visits them when they come home, sits with them, listens to their stories. I was you, she tells them. I survived. So will you. Some of them cry, some of them don't, some of them just stare. But all of them remember her, the woman who came back. Julia makes a trip to a cemetery in Manila, small, overgrown, finds a grave, unmarked, just a number. Maria Santos died in Alawir prison 2012. Her family couldn't afford to bring her body home. She was buried here. No marker, no name. Julia has a headstone made, pays for it herself. Maria Santos, 1987-2012. She warned others, she saved lives. She lays flowers. Thank you for the message on the wall. It saved me. The wind blows, carries her words away. 6 months after the trial, Julia receives a letter, prison mail, Abu Dhabi, from Tarek. She almost throws it away, but something makes her open it. Julia, I know you won't want to hear from me. I don't expect you to read this, but I need you to know something I didn't know about the trafficking, about what my father did to you. I thought it was business, logistics. I was blind. I fell in love with Sophia, the woman you pretended to be. I know that's pathetic, but it's true. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to say, you were right about everything, and I'm sorry. Tariq. Julia reads it twice, then burns it. She doesn't write back. Some apologies don't deserve acknowledgement. Julia never sings professionally. That dream died in Dubai Airport, 2012. She doesn't try to bring it back, but late at night when she's alone in the house, she rebuilt. She hums the same Whitney Houston song she performed at 17. I will always love you. Back when she thought the world was full of spotlights and possibilities. Now she knows better. But she hums anyway. November 2024, Philippine Senate. Julia testifies about trafficking recruitment tactics. The hearing room is packed. Senators, media, advocates. Julia speaks for 90 minutes, explains how predators identify victims, how they build trust, how they destroy lives. After a young woman approaches, maybe 20, nervous. Ms. Mendoza, I need to thank you. Your story stopped me from making a terrible mistake. I was about to accept a sponsorship from a man in Dubai, talent competition. But after reading about you, I researched him, found warnings online from other women. Julia's attention sharpens. What was his name? Sheikh Hassan al-Mansouri. Julia writes it down. Thank you for telling me. We'll look into him. The woman leaves. Julia stares at the name. There are others. There will always be others. But now she knows what to do. She calls James Whitmore. I have another case for you. By 2025, Estrella's Voice has freed 47 women, prosecuted 8 trafficking rings, shut down 12 fake recruitment agencies. Julia spends her life hunting predators, using their own tactics, research, patience, infiltration, evidence, exposure. She doesn't dream of revenge anymore. She already took it. Now she dreams of making sure no other 17-year-old girl walks into Dubai airport carrying someone else's nightmare. Sheikh Khalid stole 10 years from her. But Julia built something from those years. Something he can never destroy, a network, a foundation, a legacy. And every time another woman walks free, Julia thinks about her mother, about the sacrifices Estrella made. I made it count, Nane, every single day. The spotlights never came. The recording contract never happened. But Julia Mendoza became something better than a star. She became the person who fights back, who exposes predators, who saves lives. And that's worth more than any stage ever could be.